What up?
Okay, look, don't judge me now. I'm pre-bedtime, head wrap, all of that.
It's all
But
good.
I wanted to join because I wanted to clarify the once more piece, right? Because it's not always about wanting way more than how things started out, right? I think it is important to just acknowledge that sometimes when you say you want more for yourself, it may even be because it's something individually you need and not necessarily in the relationship, but you want them to go along the journey with you, right? I also think sometimes when you're asking for more is because things have gotten into be a routine that is no longer serving one or two people. This ain't no bonnet, Kevin. Don't start your mess tonight.
Serving,
Um, but
serving, serving how? Like,
so
because
mhm.
one thing I noticed that you said was that you want something different or want more, right?
Mhm.
Maybe that other person don't want it,
That's true.
right?
Mhm.
So want more like what?
So So I'll give an so I wasn't speaking on myself in this particular situation, but I could give an example in which let's say for instance I may want more out of my career. And at the time I'm trying to figure out like should I take a certification class? Should I pursue maybe some one-off mentoring, like what should I do, right, in order to further like my career. I want more, and I know that that sacrifice of me reaching or pursuing something, right, is going to cause a sacrifice in the relationship because now more energy or more time is going elsewhere,
Mm.
right? So I think in that situation, even if it's an individual, I want more, right, it has to still kind of be a unified pursuit because I need you on board for the moment, right, until I reach something that contributes to my purpose or my happiness, the
Hold
same way that if he
on. Okay. Okay. So what if he don't want you to do that? Why ain't your purpose him? Because you
I don't
talking
know that
about
I've
you.
reached no, and I get that, right, because even in a relationship you still have to be an individual. I do think that you join as one, right, when you become married. And I think that that should be a part of like what you all discuss is what are we open to, or what are we doing as a couple? How will we reach legacy? What will make us happy? What do we want for our relationship? And I think that sometimes, like you said, things change, right? I'm not saying that he would have total say so, but I do think that if I were married and my husband said, I don't want you to pursue anything extra, like I think where we are is good. And if I knew that that was something that would make me happy, we're going to have a conversation about it. Like, I get how you feel. Hear me out, though. Because as an individual, I could be completely happy in our relationship. But as a person, if it's something that I specifically need for me to feel whole or fulfilled or happy, then I would have that conversation with him because any pursuit that I have outside of the relationship is going to affect him.
This is why for me personally, I don't really like I've always said this. I like, how can I put this? It's so difficult now because on one hand, women want men to not be a certain way as a man, right? And put all of his wants, his desires, his different things to the side and do things for her.
Mm-hmm.
Women want men to do that, no doubt. Do things that you want. You
Mm-hmm.
want the relationship, you want the marriage, you want the kids, you want this. You want a man to settle down with you and not pursue anything that he wants in that particular realm. And then when when you get into the relationship, you say, but I'm an individual. I want to do this for me. I want to do that for me. So you would have a problem if he's like, well, I don't want you to do that. I want you. This is the path I see us going on. I don't want you
Mm-hmm.
taken away from me for yourself because it's about you. So I don't want you taken away from us
Mm-hmm.
for you because you admit it. It's going to take away from the relationship, which is
Mm-hmm.
us,
Yep.
which is us. So then it becomes, well, what's more important to you? Because if we don't need this, if we don't need this more that you want, and you just want to do it because, oh, I'm an individual and I feel like I want to go and pursue this master's degree,
Mm-hmm.
then it ain't about us no more. It's about you. And so, therefore, since it's not about us, and you want to take away from us for yourself, your own selfish gain, then you need to go. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I personally don't care for the career-driven woman
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times. You know what I mean? Depending on the attitude,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of career-driven women are about themselves and their career. They're
Mm-hmm.
gonna chase their bag, their status, whatever it is within that company, and I'm gonna be on the back burner a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely
And you
not.
know what? This is where, because I've never been married. I've never been married. I've had all of like 3 relationships, in my life. And I think it has always been important for me for as a relationship to have a plan. And anything that I ever pursued, like I have a master's degree, I got certifications, I have that, but that was in an effort to build a business that, you know, benefits both of us, right? Gives us both like financial freedom, or helps us pay debt down, or gives us the opportunity to travel the world or whatever. And that's been beneficial in the long run, right? So we can kind of see the perks of it, but in the moment, I think it has been that conversation where it's like, yes, this is a personal growth opportunity, but this is a temporary sacrifice for a long-term gain for the both of us. And I think that, obviously, like, you have every right to want what you want. Like, we all have our preferences, but I do think that in pursuing a marriage or a permanent partnership, I think that you have to be honest with yourself and say, like, at any point someone could feel like there's an opportunity for them to grow or improve themselves in some capacity. So I guess my question to you then, SD, would be, okay, let's say you have a woman that just has like a small business, right, that she can manage quite easily, still take care of every relationship need that you have. If she were to say she wants to, like, let's say, open a storefront or something that would take energy, time, or money or something like that away, but she has a reason for wanting to do that and it could benefit the both of you all long term, would you say no because the temporary sacrifice or impact is just a non-negotiable? Like, at no point do you want your schedule, your structure, or the time you have with her to be interrupted? Like, would that be a deal breaker for her to change the routine?
It depends on how much it's going to change. I'll listen to it. Don't get me wrong. I'll
Okay.
listen to it and see what all it takes and what it's going to cost or how much time away. Okay, so what's this going to be? How's this going to go? What do we
Mm-hmm.
have to do? Like, I'll listen to it. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's going to take away from us, and that then it becomes okay. Well, what's more important to you?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to take all this time away from me.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. So if opening up your business is more important to you
Mm-hmm.
than the quality, the stability, the healthiness of our relationship, go do it. You just gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta go. But see, you mentioned about growth and improvement,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why can't that growth and improvement be with being a better woman or wife to your man?
It
Why does it
can
have
be.
to be? Okay, but what I'm saying is a
Mm-hmm.
lot of women mention this growth and improvement. I'm sure you were talking about
Mm-hmm.
secularly or with finances, growth and improvement
Mm-hmm.
because of the way you mentioned it within the conversation.
Well, I
See,
mentioned the career piece, right? Because that's where people, I guess, have the most tumultuous conversation about it, right? Now, if I'm saying I want to grow as a wife or a partner to you, and I'm going to start doing weekly therapy sessions, I don't think that would be a problem, right? Like people don't argue about things like that, or that doesn't cause breakdown in relationship as much as a sacrifice of time, effort, time, energy, and money, right?
why?
I don't know.
Well,
I've never once had a disagreement with a man over improving myself with therapy or
why?
education and things like that, because it doesn't negatively affect what our routine looks like, right? So, but then when it comes to other pursuit, any other pursuit, it could be a dream, it could be a business opportunity, it could be any of those things, right? If that's something that I'm like, I've always wanted to open a daycare, or I've always wanted to do whatever, and the opportunity presents itself, if that were to take 60 days of sacrifice for our relationship to look a little different, right? A little different. I'm not saying totally different. I'm not saying you never see me. That is where the problem comes in. And I think that as long as you're open to the conversation, as long as you're open to the compromise, or we can see how it could be in alignment for what could help the both of us long term, then I don't see that being a problem. But I would always be open to hearing a different perspective, right? Because even in what you presented tonight, I'm like, okay, I could see how a man could just be like, I don't want that, because it's gonna rock the boat too much, and then I gotta start doing more. I gotta start doing different, and I'm already doing enough. I get
Yeah.
that.
And for me, like I don't want to deal with it. I just don't. You know what I mean? Like I said, I have a structured life and how things are, right? That's why I look for a certain type of woman. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I look for a certain type of woman that was raised or wants to be a certain type of way. Not
Mm-hmm.
a woman that was raised to be strong, independent, and not need a man.
Mm-hmm.
Because that type of woman wasn't raised to be more of a housewife and take care of a home and all of those things. She wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that type of woman is typically gonna get bored or feel held back
Mm-hmm.
or confined by me because I don't want her to go and pursue more.
Yep.
That's
I don't
why.
know a lot of
That's
us
why
that
when I say hold on real quick. That's why when I say I typically don't look for boss chicks, boss babes, career driven women. That is why. Because I want a woman that's more geared towards and raised towards taking care of the man in the home. I got the finance part. I don't need you out there doing all
are.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to come home and still do everything I was doing while I was single. It's pointless to have you here.
Mm-hmm.
If you out doing everything else, chasing dreams, chasing money, chasing the bag, and I gotta still come home from working 14, 16 hours and fix my own food. And wash dishes and clean up and take care of the home and all these here things. Why do I have you here?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, if I try to get you to be home more, you tell me that you feel confined and I'm trying to hold you back and all that shit. That's a conversation I don't want to have. That's
Yeah.
why I look for women that were raised that way to want to take care of a man, not to only want to take care of themselves and look to grow and improve secularly or with a college degree or something else that they want to chase for themselves and not want to grow and improve as far as being a woman or a wife to a man because all
Mm-hmm.
of these here different things women chase them.
Mm-hmm.
Women chase, in a lot of women here in the States, they chase everything else. They chase their schooling, they chase their job, they do
Mm-hmm.
everything they got to do to learn how to be a nurse, how to be in STEM, how to be a scientist, how to be this, how to be that. And no, and they don't chase nothing
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to learning how to
Mm-mm.
be um with a man, or be the things that men want,
Mm-hmm.
because
Sorry.
they clueless. They saying, well, what do these men want? How you
Mm-hmm.
30 some years old and you have no clue what a man really wants in a woman, when we've been saying we don't, your money ain't making us pick you, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Your money, your degrees ain't making us pick you. Why you ain't listening to that?
Stop, honey. You scratching my record. No, I think that a lot of us are not raised, right? Like not raised specifically to just be homemakers. Let's be honest. Like we aren't.
I get
And then just in you know, I would say in the generation of like if you're born in the 70s to 1990, let's just say that, right? Um, I think that the dynamic of relationships has changed so much that women, you almost have to dream beyond being a wife, right? Because men are not men are not necessarily wanting to marry early like they did, like with your parents, right? They've been married so long, they've probably known each other since teens or whatever the case may be, and that is not the circumstance in which we are in now, where people want to get married at 20, people want to get married at 19, right? So if the relationship and that type of dynamic doesn't come earlier on, what are we left to do? You know what I mean? Like we have to pursue something, because I can't go out here and just say, oh yeah, I want you to be my husband. Let's do it. So I understand, right? I understand the traditionalism of wanting a woman that just desires that, right? Like she wants to be a homemaker. She wants to take care of the kids. She wants to take care of every one of your needs. And, even me, like on the last time I joined, my parents have been together or married alone for 43 years, right? So I've seen that. I've seen my mom work and still cook, clean, wash, like all those things, and still pursue some of her, her passions. But she never got to pursue her dream, right? Because that wasn't in alignment with what, was best for the family or best for what was working with my dad at the time. So I get it. I've seen the sacrifice, right? And I think ultimately it's not wrong to want to fulfill the things that make you happy, right? But I also think that that's why it's so key to find someone that thinks and has the same mindset as you, because there is very little friction. It might be harder to find, but she
Mm-hmm.
wants the lifestyle that you want to provide, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has the full package for you, so that makes it a lot easier long term.
Have you ever been married before?
No,
Have,
I've been
have
engaged.
you been, I think you said, okay, you were engaged. How old were you when you were engaged?
Uh, 28 when I got
28.
engaged.
What happened?
Um, I kind of felt like the ring was a layaway. It was a
The ring
his
was a layaway?
yeah. He treated it as though like, okay, so we're engaged now. We can just chill. Like it's no rush. I don't want to talk about a date. I don't want to talk about wedding detail. Like we got our life for that, and it was like a brush off.
How long were y'all together?
10 years total. So
10
he was like,
years?
yep, high school sweetheart.
Y'all got kids? That's his kid?
No.
Y'all got no kids together?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. That's the only time you've been engaged, was that time?
Yep.
Um, have you ever, no, in your younger years, you ain't ever known a man that was like a husband material man? Maybe you didn't really like him, he was short or whatever the case, who knows? But he would have made a good guy, good husband, whatever. You ever known a man like that?
Um, Probably. I can't, I mean, I've met a lot of good men in my time that maybe in a sense I didn't entertain because I didn't want to be serious, you know, coming out of a 10-year relationship. There's times where there were other people lingering, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I just, you know, got divorced a month ago or whatever, in which I didn't take it seriously, right? Because it just wasn't, I wasn't in the mindset or the place to entertain something like that again. And I try my best to not compare people to my dad, because that's very easy to do, to look at my dad and say, well, he's not doing this and this, so I couldn't marry him. I'm trying my best to not judge the success of other people's marriage and what works for them as a comparison to to men that I meet, because
Mhm.
it's unfair. And I do feel like you define your own relationship. I'm very big on that. Like, I think you should define your own relationship. You define your own marriage, because y'all are the only two that have to be in it. So it's not going to look like mom and dad. It ain't going to look like, you know, my brother and sister-in-law. It's not going to look like anybody else's. It's going to be ours. So,
Right. So how long you been broke up from the 10-year guy?
2014.
2014. That was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
What is he doing now? He married
He
or
is
anything now?
married. He actually married someone that was in our group of mutual friends.
Oh, so you knew her too?
Mm-hmm.
They got kids and all that?
Yes, I think they do have kids now. 2 kids.
So you broke up with him?
Yes. Gave him his ring back, parted ways.
Okay. Do you
That was
regret it?
no. Mm-mm. No. I think I made the right decision.
Really?
It was a rocky relationship. So you know how people say, you know, believe people the first time they show you. Like, I wouldn't say that he was a bad person. I think we were young, and if you think about it, like, being in a long-term relationship from 17 or 18, being around you know, college environment, that kind of thing, like, yeah, you got a wandering eye. And we had a couple of situations here and there, but I would say, like, just kind of being brushed to the side after I got the engagement ring. Not in a way it was like he was disrespectful, but it was like, you could tell that the engagement wasn't important. Like, it was like, we got time, I want to stop bringing it up. So for me, that was a sign. I felt like that was the biggest red flag in the world, and I said, I need to cut my losses, and I made a good decision.
You made a good decision.
I
Okay.
think so. I think
He
so,
do
because I don't know that I would have been. I don't know that he would have changed. Now he was a.
so
Go
so
ahead.
at that time, did you have kids or no?
No, I only have one. He's almost 5.
Okay. So and when he get married, do you know?
I do not know. But it was maybe, I don't know the exact date and time, but it was maybe a year or two after we broke up.
He got married that quick,
Hmm.
like a year after y'all broke up.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I gave the ring back in October, December. He was in New Orleans taking pictures and stuff. Like, so yeah.
That was
Yeah.
almost 10 years ago.
Yeah. I'm like you. I'm taking my time. I'm not in a rush, because I feel confident that having dated, being in other relationships that didn't last as long, because it's like, now I feel comfortable moving on quicker when I'm not seeing what I need to see. It definitely has been, you know, peaceful. I can't even lie. It's been peaceful to just be single until you find somebody worth your time.
So what happened to the kids' dad?
Me and him really, he has a whole second life going on. That was like, it started to reveal itself as, you know, was further along in my pregnancy. Um, Such as him being engaged to somebody, but they're separated and going through therapy, just all kinds of stuff, right? And I ain't gonna get on all of that, but yeah, it was just kind of like it was no turning back from that point because it's too much dishonesty and betrayal. And I can be mature enough to say, like, that is, I should have dug more into things than I did, and you know it didn't work out.
So, would you like to get married one day?
I would. I would.
Okay. So let me ask you, why do you think, like, from your, just looking at you, why do you think um you haven't been able to find this guy? Like, what's wrong with you is what I'm asking. What do you think you could work on?
So for one, I don't think that I put myself in environments to meet people. So like the last couple of years, I have been in Jackson, please, honey. Yes, 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 you can. I think the last couple of years I've been in a place where I focus on career, focus on Jackson, and like his sports and learning and all that stuff. And I just haven't been interested, to be honest. I've met people, I've gone on sporadic dates here and there, but the actual pursuit of a relationship, I just haven't been interested. And I think I'll be honest, 100% honest in this situation. Um, I have been more, focused on career, right? Because it's me taking care of my child.
Mhm.
It's me, having to put, every foot forward to show up for him, like all these things. And his dad is in his life, right? But I take care of this house and everything in it, right? So I've had to, make sure like I'm advancing in my career and furthering myself to provide, right? So that has been a priority for me. And if there's someone that I met that was worth more of my energy, I would distribute it there. But I haven't met anybody that has made me say, okay, let me spend some more time on this, or let me carve out, some time in my weekend or some time in my night to, get to know them better. So,
Mm. Okay. And that's because you've been pursuing your career and
hmm
education and things like that.
hmm
Okay.
it's been fruitful. I will say that. Like I've seen career advancement in the last 2 years, and it's been good. But it's still a gap, right? Because it's like you still want to share that with someone. You still want to have companionship,
Mhm.
but you want it with the right person. I don't want a place filler. I don't want a warm body. I don't want stress, right? Like I want to meet a best friend that turns to partner. That's what I want personally. So I wait.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope it works out for you.
It will.
I hope it works out for you. All right. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you.
Thank you. And don't be
All
talking about you already seen boobs and all that next time.
right.